So I used to gamble a lot. My wife at the time decided to ask me to speak to someone, and it was on Instagram, and I didn't have Instagram. So I purely created it for that, and then spoke to that person, and then from getting an Instagram, found Aftermarket, seeing the socials, seeing things like that then get me going, I might know a bit about this. I might be able to do that. Start small, build it up. It's much better than this. Like,
you're a lot better off as a result.
Extremely better, much better off now. The time, the freedom. So last month's revenue would have been 38,000.
Today we've got a pretty special guest with us. If you follow our socials, especially the Instagram, you will have seen this guy floating about. He does, well, we requested Andrew Tate and we got the Scottish version, and I will let you make your judgment on that in a moment. However, this individual, I'll let him introduce himself in a moment, has been selling on Amazon now for 2 years, pretty much as of tomorrow. So his limited company incorporated 2 years tomorrow. For the past 14 months, he's been selling full time. So again, this is another story from someone who's gone from doing this alongside the 9 to 5 and then bridging that gap, taking it into a full-time position and building a 6-figure business off the back of it. And if you do watch the podcast, you may be thinking, Jack, why are you sat here and not in the other seat? Well, there's a nice story behind this, and I will hand you over to Phil Taylor now, and when he gives his intro and his background, he'll probably expand on this as well. So thank you for coming on, Phil.
Welcome. So yeah, Phil Tater Top. So basically, 2 years tomorrow, incorporated. First sale would be 2 years coming, like next month. So yeah.
So it took you like just over a month to get off the ground?
Just over a month to read the guides, reread the guides, and then get it all set up, get it going, yeah.
You seem to have done something there that a lot of people refuse to do.
But because I'd worked there, I had a bit of time in the office to sit and read the guides and print them off as well and read them back at home.
But before we go into that, your journey with us didn't start with Amazon, did it?
No.
When did you get into it?
So I joined initially the eBay sort of section. Because I didn't want to I didn't know Aftermarket at the time. You're always skeptical about stuff you sort of find on the internet. So I started with the eBay section, decided to then use a little bit of money that I had left in the overdraft at that point to then start flipping stuff. So I think it was like ring doorbells and things at the time. Your admins had posted like it was a bundle. So then split them and then sell from
the Amazon ones.
Ring doorbell and the Echo Show or something. So what when you got into the game, did you miss the PS5s? Did you get in on the PS5? Missed it all.
What about air fryer?
Missed it all.
Really?
Well, to an extent. So one of the first times I saw the PS5s was Matt from Food Review was posting stuff about he was buying things.
Shout out Food Review.
And I think he we'll get to that later. Okay. But yeah, I think he tagged Aftermarket in it at the time.
Wait, did you come through Food Review Club?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I just followed the 2 years.
Yeah.
And then missed all that, basically.
So you seen it?
Flip from the eBay, starting the eBay, build your capital.
Yep.
And then because I was working Amazon, decided that's the natural progression, and I knew more about it to do that than creating listings.
Yeah. So I'll let Phil expand on this a little bit more now because he's gone full circle and he can explain exactly what that means. And this is why his story is great. Yeah.
So flip seats, because obviously I've went from working from about 20-ish, 18 to 20, working for Amazon up in Scotland in Gourock, and then got made redundant and decided that at that point it was either put up or shut up. So then invest part of the redundancy into what I'd already began to start doing and then to get them working for me.
And I think in that there's like a really important lesson because a lot of people, they don't they think the 9 to 5 is safe and it's that is security to them.
Yep.
However, you are a prime example that it's not secure, but you played it the right way where you had a side hustle alongside that. So you were steadily building and doing something extra in your spare time. Whereas most people think, oh, I'm only going to do a business when I've got all this free time, when if I leave my job, I'm going to open up this company, I'm going to start this project. In reality, you need to take the baby steps alongside that income and then facilitate the transition.
You can't start from scratch after you've lost your job.
Yep, exactly.
And then Amazon's is the biggest online retailer or e-tailer in the world, and they're still closing places.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Well, there you go. Exactly.
And then to be safe is,
and that's why Phil's story is sort of so interesting, because you look at Amazon and how many people are using it. Over 300 million products are sold. 300 million different types of products are on Amazon's website, like worldwide. That's insane, right? And you think about, and as Phil said, an e-tailer this big, how were they still making people redundant? So what did Phil do? He flipped the script, exactly like we flipped our seats, as we just said, and transitioned into becoming an Amazon seller. And then basically, where Phil was working at Amazon, he's now doing what we're doing and having Amazon work for him. And I imagine you're a lot better off as a result.
Extremely better, much better off now. The time, the freedom, different things. Like last year, so we were made redundant. Most people in March.
Yep.
You could stay on if you wanted to help basically empty the building. So I stayed on for a couple of weeks, which actually gave me an extra couple of grand through doing that, because of I had an extra year's service in that period. Yeah. So done that, and then go on holiday in July.
Yep.
I'm still earning money.
Yeah.
While I'm sat on the beach.
And that's what a lot of people, I think to a lot of people probably, even that still start watching, that if you're not an Amazon seller, you don't really conceive that's possible because you're used to your 9 to 5. Or maybe if you're self-employed and you're, I don't know, an electrician or some plasterer, you're not getting paid unless you're doing your own stuff.
Unless you're there.
And now with this, if we sort of spin it back again, because we've touched on where you've come from in terms of your job, but how did you actually get into this side hustle? What was it that sort of led you down that path and made you want a little bit more? Yeah,
so to lower the tone, so I used to gamble a lot. And my wife at the time decided to ask me to speak to someone, and it was on Instagram, and I didn't have Instagram, so I purely created it for that, and then spoke to that person, and then from getting an Instagram, found Aftermarket.
Okay.
So it's purely from getting that, seeing the socials, seeing things like that then get me going, I might know a bit about this. I might be able to do that. Start small, build it up.
And why was it that what was your why with that sort of thing? Because like
it's just to have a better life. Like you don't want to keep Amazon as a company are very time constricted.
Yep.
You've got to do X amount per hour, got to do this, you've got to do that. So for talking sake, imagine I need to go and pick up Alex at school at the drop of a hat. I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to do these things and have that flexibility, that coming, that going, that time, the freedom. You want to have all that for you, don't you? You don't want to have to start going to your boss going, I need to leave. Oh, you've left twice this month.
Yeah, twice this month. In reality, it's not a lot, but organisations like this view
compared
it as,
to some other people, it'll be a lot.
Yeah. And I think that that's one of what you've touched on there is one of the most important things, because I think people think that we're just financially motivated, and it's definitely not the case.
No.
Because yes, even if you were earning the exact same from your FBA business as you was in Amazon, I guarantee your flexibility and freedom would be way, way more.
Yeah. And like if you enjoy what you're doing, you're going to be successful at that.
And you were saying before we started this,
you were saying how much you
enjoy it.
I enjoy doing this, so it will be more beneficial for me than working that 9 to 5, because a lot of people don't enjoy it or put up with it. Maybe. But like it's much better than this. Like I'm working today. Today is the day of work. But I've actually been traveling. So
that's the thing. We get to do this sort of stuff. We have this flexibility, and yes, we preach improving your sort of, let's say, financial literacy, making more money, being smarter, but you can't let go of the sort of the value, the flexibility and time freedom brings you. Because even for me recently, like, as you've seen, like, me and Phil speak all the time. We have many drunken phone calls together. However, I've been traveling back and forward recently. And again, this wouldn't have been possible even in my own job, but it doesn't come overnight. You've been doing this for 2 years now. You've built it up.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of again, it's one of the sticky points for a lot of people. They don't want to put the time in to get it up and off the ground, do they?
And that's the thing. Someone messaged me yesterday, but how much time do you think you would put in to start getting the ball rolling? I was like, probably a couple hours a week. Like, I was still working a full-time job and trying to do it in your days off between school runs. Like, just hit your local area, scan some stuff, start learning a wee bit in the beginning, find out if it's for you. It might not be. And if it is, give it in a couple of hours, another couple of quid, another 50 quid here, when you can spare it, if you can spare it. If you can't, so be it. If you really want to do it, you'll find another way. It's like, that's just the way it goes.
Yeah. And so you came in, you started with your eBay stuff, and then you transitioned over to Amazon. But by the time that had you already started your Amazon business, your FBA business, at the point of getting notified of redundancy? Or was
it was before. Yeah. So so that would have been, the redundancy never actually got announced till like the January, and I'd started this. Incorporated July, first sale in August.
Yeah, and that's what this is. It is the safeguard, isn't it? It's having if shit hits the fan, in the back of your mind, well, actually, there's something I can grow here, and it could have. And I'm not just saying this to like plug Aftermarket, right? As much as you might say.
But hold on, right? So let me interrupt you. So I don't work for Aftermarket. I'm not affiliated in any way apart from being a member of the community.
Phil's paid for all his memberships
and learned and came through and read the guides and all this stuff and spoke to some people, and there'll be certain people who go, oh fuck, that's who I speak to. Yeah, cool. Name to the face and all that. Cool. But yeah, I'm not here because I'm paid to be here. I'm here because I want to be here to speak about stuff. Yeah.
And I think that one of the really good things about the community is that when you were going into that position, you could go into that success channel and see the numbers that other people are at. And you're like, well, there is a future in this. Yeah. I can build this up.
I spoke to two people at the time. I spoke to Aaron.
Yep.
Aaron stayed on a Q&A, and I was like, mine's kind of like a very specific question at the time. It was pre-redundancy. And he stayed on for about half an hour and just went, yeah, of course you can do it. I've done it. Here's like certain little pointers of I do this and I try and do that. Like in a general scheme, like I try and spend X amount per month and I try and do X amount of hours and stuff. Brilliant. And then I spoke to you as well, because do you remember this?
I know what you
refunded my money.
Yeah.
So I'd paid for a month, and I wasn't angling for it or anything like that. Like you just went, oh, I'll send it back.
Because didn't you message saying you might have to leave?
I can't even remember. We need to go back and read it. I remember you going like, I'm not going to not help in that situation, so I'll send you your money back.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's not what I was getting at, but cool. Fair enough.
Yeah.
You sent your money
but
back.
I think that, like, again, a lot of people don't think that I'm that sort of person. Like, and that's why I never show my personal life and stuff, because I'm worried about what people think. Yeah. Because when I first started Aftermarket, when it was a bit of a younger audience, people were always like, oh, I wonder how much money Jack's making, who's doing this, he's the group owner, blah, 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 blah. It's like, you don't understand, but it's also the stuff behind the scenes. That was years ago and it's never been spoken about.
But it's not about how much you're making, it's about how much you can help me make.
That is it. And for me, the whole thing of running this is, as I've said it before, I want to, when Aftermarket's shut, when the lights go off one day, however that happens, I want people to go, do you know what? That had a positive impact on me. It helped me in that situation, that time in my life.
And that's the thing. Like I've sent you a picture. I'll send you some pictures and we can add them on. And it's like, I teach Alex, who's 9. I try and teach him as much as I can. I drill it down. And I'm probably too hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 9 years old. He should be running around the streets, like causing havoc. But we were out in a shop the other day and he's like, oh, we can't get that. Remember, we can't get that. And he's remembering things. Yeah. And I went, oh, where did I see these Tommy Tippy things? And he goes, oh, it was in Johnston. And I go, so it was in Johnston, that man. And I'm like, well done. And I'm like, right, we'll go and get them.
Yeah, that's good.
And he's remembering things. And I was like, you're going to be a force when you're older. If you do have that sort of appetite for it later in life, which I'd imagine you would do, because I'll be setting the foundation for it. Yeah, firsthand.
He's been ingrained into your business. Like, it's even sort of the subconscious learning. Like, we showed him that photo before where he sat just doing the labelling, because what it does is it instills a work ethic at a young age. Mm-hmm.
And I'll say to him, and I'll tell you what, we'll do it later on, I'll phone him, and you go, hard work, and he goes, works.
Yeah.
And I go, nice people, and he goes, just nice things.
Yeah.
I was like, we're getting there, and we'll get there.
You're
and then, last week we got Olivia out for a wee bit. school holidays up there in Scotland, so we got her out for a bit, and she's like, right, what am I doing? I was like, we'll sit down for now, let me do this.
Yeah.
And then, right, here, do this. And she's sitting, and I went, wasn't that bad, was it? And she was like, no. And I was like, right, let's go to Burger King. So she's like, what?
Got a little reward.
All right, get what you want.
Yeah.
She spent like 40 quid in Burger King, and it's an expense lunch. It's a business lunch. Like, so it's not a problem. And then she's starting to see little bits.
Yeah.
And then we're sitting eating yesterday, and she's texting her pals, and she goes, my stepdad's going to be on a podcast. And I'm like, what one? I'm like, go Phil. And I'm like, I got like a cheerleader here. Yeah, it's nice, man. It's
it's great, mate.
But again, you don't do that if you go to 9 to 5. You don't have people fucking cheering you on.
No, mate. It's like it was the exact same when Aaron was here last week. In Demand.
Oh, In Demand. Aaron Steele. Sorry,
I thought you were saying that as a joke then. To have a dig at him.
No, I wasn't.
Basically, but yeah, Aaron's son Henry was here as well, and absolutely buzzing. Yeah. And again, it's something that, like, we're not saying that this podcast is it's going to get tons of views, but it's just documenting your achievements and showing people what you can do. But
he'll be doing the same with Henry as I am as well.
Yeah, 100%.
And he'll be taking him out, and we see him sometimes because he'll be on a video call and he's in the back. And that's it. That's good. You're enjoying that journey.
Yeah,
that's why we got on a bit as well. As you know that I'm enjoying that journey. That we're doing, and it's still in its infancy. But where can it go?
But that's a good thing that you've got that angle on it, that it's in its infancy and you're 2 years in now.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people will just assume the infancy is the first 3 months of the business.
No. And that's the thing, that there was always old things like my stepdad used to have a business, and he kind of broke away from his 9 to 5 in a way and started kind of doing that work for himself. There's only like one of a handful of people that could do that job. And I always remember when he was setting his up, he was told never take money out of your business in the first 6 months. It's the same as like opening a shop. You've got a float. Mm-hmm. You have to have that float. So he can't be paying himself for 6 months. You have to have that build up, that growth to then start drip feeding that out. You've got to learn all this stuff.
Yeah. And as well, I will touch on this now because around this money topic, because you don't have to go too deep into it, but you have more restrictions, don't you?
Yeah.
Than other people, and you've still made this work. Yeah,
you might be able to help with the numbers on this one, but probably the majority of people have an Amex. Yeah. I'd say the majority, or the high majority.
Yeah, the majority of so for anyone who doesn't do Amazon, a lot of people will use credit, and whether that's through American Express or any of the other credit cards that you can get, even from a traditional bank, people will lean on that to help cash flow in the early days especially.
Amex being the one who normally have quite a high limit.
Yeah, and it's one that everyone wants because you get points as well. You can use your points to go wherever you want.
So then this is where my previous life in gambling running up like a bad credit has now impacted the business, because then you can't get that Amex.
Yep.
So we've got to go other ways. We've got to go other routes and start thinking about how we can manage stuff.
That's something that, like, again, I think it comes down, this is where you get two different sets of people. You'll get the people with like a victim mentality. It's like, well, this is never going to work for me now because I did this, because I fucked up in the past.
They won't give me that card.
Yeah. Like blah, 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 blah. Nothing's ever going to work. But it's like, well, no, actually, if you find a way, you're the perfect poster boy for that.
Yeah. So I remember we went on holiday. So we went on holiday, and I got a phone call, and I'd answered it. It was, hi, I'm from All Star, plug. And it was like, we'll give you £1,000, and I'm like, it's not going to last a week.
Yeah.
Like, even then. So they were like, oh, right. Okay. And I was like, but it's every 2 weeks you'll be billed. So I'll actually be doing that. And I've still got it now. Mm-hmm. But I've now had to like pay to get the limit increased. That's how bad it is.
Really?
Yeah. So I think I've been declined for Amex, I think 3 times. I think I've been declined for Capital and Tap twice. And that's the only card I have out with of cash.
Yeah.
And it's only just, and I mean, last month, same day I spoke to you on the phone, that day it went up by 1,000. So that only has at maximum £4,000 a month. Mm-hmm. Maximum.
And it's took you a while to get it to that.
And it's taken me almost 2 years to get to that level of having almost £4,000.
With
and you'll see some people spend that in an order.
Yep. Well, I'm not going to say too much, but there's a guy behind the camera who you may have seen on some of my content. We won't go too much into it because I'm trying to get him on a podcast at some point. But
he's coming on the next one. He'll be on episode 7. So.
But he was just talking about how he did an order that was 27 grand in one go. So Phil's saying about how 4 grand doesn't actually go that far. when you build it up, Josh, can I say your name or not?
Oh, well, you just said it.
So Josh did an order. Josh did an order of 27 grand, and he's at a point where he's doing anywhere from, I don't know, 40, 50k a month profit when his business is running.
Allegedly, but 27 grand order.
He's going to come over there and batter you now, mate. But yeah, so like, again, when you start, it's going to start small. Like, you might think, I don't even know I'd go and spend 4 grand. But trust me, when the wheels are in motion,
when it starts to get going, you'll start finding places.
Yeah, it snowballs. It really does snowball, and you can spend money so quickly.
Yeah.
Really, really quickly.
And then you'll find out as well that there's a handful of restrictions here and there when you start getting going.
Yep.
You will be able to spend that.
So for anyone that's, again, not on the platform, anyone who is, you know exactly who Phil is. But Phil, you're a massive sort of figure in the community, right? Everybody pretty much knows you in the group, don't they?
Oh, I don't know, maybe some.
They do.
Maybe
now,
some.
He's not taking any credit, but they do. Now, I want it from your side of the table. What do you think what do you think is the stumbling blocks for people in the early days?
Laziness.
Okay. And laziness with regards to what?
The majority of people in the UK will be lazy. Don't snap that out for that there. People will use Amazon as convenience and stuff, and it still runs deep in a person when starting a business. Some people can make it look really, really easy on Instagram and, do this, do that, the next thing. Whereas you don't. You jump on an Instagram live and go, it's not as easy as people will make it out to be, but if you put in the time and the effort, you'll be fine. Yeah.
The thing is, it really is a double-edged sword with regards to socials, because you have to make it look easy enough to get people interested.
Exactly.
But you have to show the real picture to not set false expectations, and finding that line is very hard.
That median.
You will get people out there that will just bullshit and say, overnight you're going to make
10 grand tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's sort of documenting it, showing everyone how it works, the processes. If you follow our page, like, there's actually a lot of value in there, isn't there, that goes out.
Well, that's the thing. You're getting drops on a daily basis.
Yeah. And
multiple drops on a daily basis.
With with regards to laziness, because for me, and it was what I said about the beginning, it's about guides, it's about education, it's about sitting down and actually putting the time in.
Yeah.
I feel like that is where most people trip up. It's wanting the money on a silver platter, but what's your perspective on that? Is it the same, or?
Yeah, it's not going to get handed to you. If you don't read you're going to make mistakes. It's non-negotiable.
Yeah.
You have to make a mistake.
Again.
And then you go, oh shit, I'll learn from that, and that's cool. You're going to get an IP, you're going to get all these things from a brand, they're going to complain at you, you're going to get something restricted, something shut down, you're going to have a price error, you're going to put something the wrong way. Fine, just roll with the punches,
and
learn
again,
from that, and don't do it next time.
That's why we're there, isn't it? It's to help navigate.
And go, shit, why did that happen? You might go, let me see, or whatever it may be.
And it's not even like it's just coming from us and like the actual people that work at Aftermarket, because if you're putting this in the community, you've got people like Phil.
And that's the thing. So, someone wrote in the chat, they'll know who they are if they watch this, and they'll go like, I only trust a certain amount of people and you're one of them. Yeah. And they'll message me privately on stuff.
Yeah. And that's it. But it's being around people like that, especially with Phil now, because you're at a point where you really have something to talk about with the journey that you've gone on, where you've built this business to, and what it's done to your life.
And like we say as well, it's like it's still in its infancy. 2 years is nothing in terms of a business being running.
No.
2 years is nothing. So give it another 2 years, and we've probably doubled what we are now. Yeah, brilliant. And then we'll strive for more, and we'll try and double
already like, I know I won't touch into it too much, but you've like recently invested in other education alongside Amazon as well, haven't you?
Yeah. You start investing the money that you're making into make that. It's like a snowball side, but you're then investing in yourself as terms of, right, here's other avenues still within Amazon that you can then branch out and into. And then again, you've got to learn that, and there's another thing to learn.
Putting time in, but it's
exactly.
And again, but it's all going into yourself. It's better to be putting some money into like something like Phil's doing, or even if you don't want to do Amazon and you're just watching this for general business, but you could go and pay a mentor. I even pay a mentor. Well, I used to pay a mentor for different education, and I had to pay him $7,000 a month, right? Because I wanted to learn from him, because he was an expert in his field.
He's the guy.
Yeah, he's the guy. He sold his company for just under 8 figures, right? So I want to go to a similar path from him. I'm just going to go learn direct. I want to fast track it. Like, I will spend that money to, one, learn from his mistakes, two, fast track my success. And it's all going into me. So then the money that I've made off the back of investing in that has been like in 2 very small launches. This isn't aftermarket related, by the way. 2 very small launches, like beginner ones for me. I've probably done at least 5 or 6 times that, and that money's come in with weeks of work, but then the money's coming in like 2 days. It's the recouping that was so easy, but you're consuming education, you learn, you put it into yourself, because if you work a 9 to 5 now and you're putting it into your boss and his business, well then...
You're helping them get promoted.
Yeah, you're helping them. Exactly. So you need to think, put yourself first. Where do you want to go? Where do you want to be? And how do you want your life to look? If you don't want your life to look like your boss's, well then you need to get out, because at the moment it's probably the only pathway that you're going on.
Yeah. And there'll be a lot of stumbling blocks in the way for people to move up as well, in whatever field they're in.
Oh, 100%, because like...
So you're avoiding that as well?
Yeah, your boss doesn't necessarily always want you to get promoted.
No, because you don't know what he's saying behind closed doors.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah. Like, I think it is, it's like, you're a case study for it. It's not as safe as you think. And that's why we always preach, you need to have a plan, and you need to panic and worry as if everything's going to go tits up tomorrow. Because then when it does happen, because at some point something will derail and go wrong.
Something will pop up.
You're going to have a safety net, and when it does sort of fall apart, you can lean back on it. And money isn't everything, but it solves problems, and that reduces stress and it makes your life easier. That's the way that you've got to look at it.
It was funny. It was at the end of May, the car was due for the MOT. Now at any other time, this would have been a massive issue. Mm-hmm. So it was like £1,400 to get the MOT service, get everything fixed, get back on the road. It wasn't an issue this time. But that would have been almost a month's wage.
Yeah.
Coming out the 95.
Yeah.
Just to pay for that.
Yeah.
Never mind then everything else you need to pay for that month.
Yeah.
So this massive then bombshell, and they were saying stuff that pops up that you're expecting, it drives fine, it'll be cool.
Yeah.
No, when that then kicks in, shit hit the fan.
Yeah. I remember the first, like when I first started to make a little bit of money, I remember curbing the wheel on my new car, and I was like, fuck. And then I thought to myself, actually, do you know what? It's all right. I can get this solved for like 200 quid and I can make that in a day. So it's fine. Yeah. Like that.
And like I say, I'm not sitting here going, oh, that's big seller, anything, not even close to anything like that. But the problems that it's already solved, like I say, in that infancy, in that beginning, in that first sort of phase, the problems it helped sort is massive.
And then like surely that motivates you to push it even further, because if you think if it's already done this,
it's always a snowball. So even with that one, is then that mental snowball to go, I can put in a wee bit more time here. I can put in a wee bit more money. And
it goes and goes and goes, and then before you know it, you'll look back in another 2 years' time and you'll be like, fucking hell, how did I get to this?
I need a member of staff.
Yeah. Could be Alex.
Olivia will be 16 in next May, so it'll be stuff like that. First part-time job for her, maybe a weekend or something like that, and then could we start doing that sort of thing, and that will then, not say it eases too much pressure, but it's a great work ethic for her at 16 to then come and do it and learn and go, okay, this isn't fun to an extent for her, but you go, right, okay, well, do you want to work for me or do you want to work for someone else?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Chances are you probably want to work for me.
Yeah. It's going to be and then I don't think anyone else is going to be taking them 40 quid Burger Kings, are they?
Nah.
I want to really shed a light on the numbers that his business now does, and we can also compare that to what he was earning in the 9 to 5 at Amazon, to flipping it, as we keep saying, to now having Amazon work for him. And I want you to pay attention to this difference, because pretty substantial, but it's not just the financial sum that's substantially different. It's the time and the freedom that you get attached to that. So imagine saying you can work less, earn more. You would think it was bullshit.
Yeah.
It's not true. I mean, in your mind, it's probably not feasible. Now, when you're running a business, don't get me wrong, you're going to have times where you have to work a fucking shift.
60-hour week and 70-hour weeks and stuff, yeah.
Like, I think it was for me on Tuesday, I sat up in the office upstairs. First meeting was at 9. I got off my last call at 9:30. The only time I left the office was to go and buy an energy drink from the shop. So in that window, like that is like, what, a 12-hour day? Most people...
Yeah, you've posted one you were still up in the office at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. So there's been multiple times, but it's like when I know, and like same as you, it's like I'm putting this extra work in because I know my business is going to spit out this extra cash as a result.
That's the thing. Before that week on holiday, you know you're going to have one of them weeks because you're not going to want it to die or drop while you're away because you're like, oh. So you want to put that week in there as well.
Exactly. And so,
that time.
So for you, explain, sort of shed some light on it.
So what we now, we're July now. So last month's revenue would have been 38,000 before.
What did you start with? Sorry, your starting amount in back 2 years ago, pretty much.
60 quid.
60 quid.
Yeah, because I would have just used the end of the overdraft to buy that first product, split it into 2 listings. So say it was like a Ring doorbell and an Echo Show. It was like 60 quid, but then you were going to split them, sell them for like 100. Use the what I never knew around at the time, obviously what you were giving me placeholders, and use them, benefit that, and then go, oh, I actually get quite a lot back there, and then do that, and then snowball the eBay side into the Amazon side into where we're going. So yeah, so revenue last month was 38, so that was the highest I've had.
Okay, so what? Sorry to interrupt, but £60 starting budget, and almost 2 years later, his business is just on £38,000 in revenue. Now, say revenue is vanity, profit is sanity.
Yeah.
Where's the profit?
So the profit now is 6,000. So that's after 6,000 after VAT. So that's not the highest profit month, but it is post VAT registration. Yeah. So if you compare that back then to obviously saying with the car bill, it's almost a month's wage. So you're on about, and a not bad job in Amazon, like the IT department at the time, you're probably walking away with about 440 a week.
140 a week.
So you're probably talking 4 times.
So you're coming
if I took that out in a month, I'd be on 4 times the wage.
What about the contrast in terms of
and like then I don't work a 40-hour labour intensive week, and I don't have to walk around and be at someone's beck and call. Yeah. So it's
much easier for you.
Just a little bit.
And imagine, well, I was actually really nervous to get going with this pod because Phil is he abuses me on the daily pretty much.
Well, actually, speaking of which, I brought my present because remember last time I brought a chair.
Yeah, he brought me a present last time again. This is why I'm going to keep inviting Phil down because both times he's come, I've got a present.
I was speaking. So basically what happened was last time I went to come down and I didn't make the meet up because it was my birthday, so I wasn't going to spend it with him. So then
fuck off.
So then basically what happened was I brought the chair down, as some people might remember the chair. So my train was cancelled. I had to get a megabus from Glasgow down to Manchester and then carry this 16 kilo chair about. So I managed to get it here. So I thought next time, obviously if I'm going to tell him, I'll get him a present as well. So there's your present, right? There's your present, right?
We're going to open it on the pod.
This will be a thing now whenever I'm down. I'll have to bring a present.
And Phil did say to me the other day, he did say that he was going to be, he said, oh fuck, I've got to wrap the present.
Yeah, no, I did actually
he told me a while ago that he'd got me a present, and this guy just takes the piss all the time. So I never know what's true and what's not.
Fact or fiction.
Yeah, when he said this, I thought he was joking. He's like, and then you brought it again and said like, oh no, I've got to wrap it. Is it safe?
Look, we'll tap one side, and if it makes a sort of glass noise, you'll be fine. Yeah, I think you're on the right side there, and then you can see it and decides whether or not you blur some of it out.
Blur some of it out?
Yeah, some of it out.
Mate, you've done a good job with this.
I used to work at Amazon, mate, packing stuff.
Right, I'll turn it this way.
It's like pass the parcel. And it from one beep to another. Oh, you're on the right side. Oh, you're on the right side.
Hell. I knew.
It's just a bit home decor.
So this is Phil's. Favourite word, and I actually asked my videographer and video editor before we started this podcast what we had to do if this word get blurted out. I will.
That's why I beeped it there when I said it.
So, Phil, thank you very much.
Welcome, mate.
We'll put it.
Just fuck the monkey off.
Right.
You don't need to do it now. Just do it later.
No, we'll put it up here, mate.
All right, okay. Put it behind. Are you going to put? I thought you were going to put it behind my head there. That would be good. There you go. Just put that home decor. I know you like your pictures. So, it is a term used mainly for stupid or idiotic. Often the word right used as an adjective before it. So there you go.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's see, I got that was the last photo frame present I had behind me.
That one? The one?
I think that trumps it.
Yeah. I think if I'm Hasbill in it, I think you're coming home with me, Hasbill.
Yeah. We'll do a swap, mate. But thank you, Phil. It's I think I'm going to get a lot of questions whenever anyone visits the apartment now. However,
nice talking piece.
It is, mate. It is. So, yeah, Phil, like I said, and I think this goes to show you something here that, like, with Aftermarket and all of this, like, we've all become mates out the back of this. As much as we all take the piss out of each other, but we've built, like, a community. We're mates. Like, you've got your group.
We've got a group. I've never been to Newcastle, but yeah, I've met one of them last week or 2 weeks ago in Newcastle. Yeah. You go out and you do RA together. You split hotels, split dinners and that. Brilliant. Great time.
It's new experiences.
And then you do it again, and then we'll do it again with all the rest of the boys. Some of the other ones are going to all meet up and stuff, and fantastic. And then that's how it goes.
And that's it. But like, I think, again, it's not something that people think about when they're starting something. You don't think, oh, you could join a community and then be in a position like where you're in now with the boys, where you've got your own things going on, you've started a business together.
That's the thing. There's still a handful of people, even outside of that small group, that we're still speaking to, that you message on Discord, and the people, like, you created the pods, and I've had someone going, oh, I've been moved pod and that, and then you're then talking outside of all the pods and stuff, and then going, you're still talking and sharing and things. It's still that community, but outside of the community as well. Yeah,
and it's just there is a huge tool for networking there. Mm-hmm. Like I said, Phil is now part of like another sort of smaller community. You've launched a business with them off the back of it, haven't you? Yeah. Made a lot of money together, invested in education together. But when you joined with that £60, I bet you couldn't.
That wasn't on the horizon. Exactly. That wasn't even an afterthought at all. It was all
when you made that Instagram account. I bet you never thought you'd be sat there.
No, because I didn't know you. I didn't know you back when I made it.
Exactly. So this is what I mean. It's like the ripple effect, the spider web, where one thing that you do, one event, can genuinely lead to a massive change in the direction of your life.
And then again, that's the joy about the meetup as well that you do, that you organise and stuff. People who will go to that will then meet like-minded other people, the other end of the country, and hit it off with them, and go, oh, actually, well, they're doing a wee bit more with me than me, and it becomes this healthy competition as well. And then it goes from that.
It is. And it's motivational. I think when I first started in the trainer space, group of us all doing it. And it's like, well, I want to be the guy that gets the most. I want to do it. Like, and so yes, everyone's mates and it's friendly sort of, like, as Phil said, competition, but it does push you to work that little bit harder because I think if you go on a lot of these things solo, like, you can slack off.
Yeah, you become that sort of, you can get a bit, you can always have that bit of a sort of mundane week and month here and there, and you're just not feeling it. Whereas sometimes you'll maybe be in bed and you're like, oh, I'll have a late start tomorrow. Someone will message something, go, oh, I found this, or there's a big drop here, or something's going on.
Yeah, like Aaron said,
it just drives you at that bit, and you're like, shit, I need to go and do that.
Aaron said,
I want to go and do that.
It happened with him. He said he had like a shitty morning, and he said he was in bed, and then Luke sent him a video of a shopping trolley.
Bam. And overflowing.
And then he's like, right, need to get out.
And he's like out in the car in 10 minutes. I don't even think he's showered or nothing. He's just up and right, I need to go.
And that's it. Cool. But where most people have got a boss telling them you've got to do something, you've got your mates texting you a reminder and thinking, and you go, oh shit, I can make money now.
Yeah.
So more sort of, we talked a lot of the background. I want to sort of switch into the Amazon side of stuff. So where you started and sort of the strategy that you first adopted was it retail arbitrage predominantly?
Would be near enough 100% in the beginning. Would have been RA. And then it's because you're always going to get that stuff that's area and local and sort of specific around there. So that gives you that little bit of leeway in terms of not everyone's on it.
Yep.
So you've got a little bit more time, which obviously you're never going to be able to buy.
Yeah.
So you've got a little bit of time in case you're not going to send it in, or you are going to send it in, or how you're going to price and stuff. And obviously everyone's circumstances are different. So life might not dictate that you can get that shipped in the next day or the same day and stuff like that. So it was all RA in the beginning. Yeah.
And what do you think? Because I always recommend people to start with retail arbitrage.
Yeah.
Now,
definitely.
I know you just touched on a little point there, but why? Because from your perspective, why is it most important to start with retail arbitrage? If you break it down to a beginner.
So the majority of people, no matter where they stay, will be 10, 15 minutes away from a supermarket, high street, wherever it may be. You're going to find something. If you hit one or two shops, it's not always got to be the same shop. It's always going to be this variety. It's going to be end of season clearances, end of summer sales, whatever it's going to be. You're always going to find stuff there. And then you're always going to have a good margin because they want it out to clear space for the next thing that's coming in, the new brand, whatever it's going to be that's there, that they need.
Yep.
So you're going to have that. You're going to be able to spread your risk.
Yep.
You're not just going to find one thing in there and then hit 4 Tesco's in the beginning. You're not going to do that. You're going to hit a Tesco's, an Asda, a Superdrug, a Boots, and you're going to get this wide variety. And it's like spreading your surface area.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
You get told, spread your surface area. Like if you're nice, like, so if you're thinking like you're nervous in the beginning, spread your area.
Yeah.
Spread it.
And what is for me, retail arbitrage is great because JP touched on this as well. You don't know him, do you?
No.
The Scouts one?
Liverpool fan?
Yeah.
Oh, James.
Yeah. So with like retail arbitrage, you're literally getting a feel for the products.
Yep.
You're seeing them in person and you can spot patterns. You can learn routes around stores. It's a lot easier to find a route around a store where you've had patterns of success versus going on an online website, looking at a screen and just thinking, where do I start?
You don't know the size, you don't know the weight, you don't know the dimensions and all these things. And one of the other things that me, in that first year that I loved, being able to buy it on Wednesday and ship it on Thursday.
Yeah.
Getting that ball rolling fast was very key.
Okay.
And then I used to love going, anything in RA that I pick up on any day, I know it's getting picked up tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now, no one's going to beat that transition time.
Yeah.
People can match it, absolutely. And then it's up to UPS to get it shipped in for me.
Yeah.
No one is going to beat that. So as long as you're doing that, you get so much peace of mind to like, you're at peace. Like you can't really do much more than that. If something goes south, it's business. It's going to happen at some point. But yeah, that's why I love that bit of RA, that quick turnaround that you can get. Because even if you get it, okay, OA, if you're a bit more experienced, you can get it delivered and picked up the next day or the same day if you time it really well and stuff. But I always like the RA for that one.
And so how has that changed over the past 2 years?
It's
because you were 100% RA at the start.
Yeah.
Where are you at now?
Whereas it's still a lot RA, a lot of it's still RA, but I do like incorporating the OA collections into your RA route. Mm-hmm. So then you're trying to get that 2 birds with 1 stone type thing.
What we means with OA collections is like if you go onto Smith's website and you order click and collect.
Yeah. Things like that. Because you get it in enough every sort of place. Now you get it in Superdrugs, you get it in probably, I don't know if you might get it in Boots as well, I'm not sure.
You can do click and collect Boots.
Yeah. Some of them are really quick.
Got Josh saying fuck Boots in the background of him banned.
Yeah. Boots jail. So it's like stuff like that. If you can incorporate that into your daily trip, you're guaranteed to get stuff when you leave.
Yeah. Exactly.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
So your time's not being wasted.
And do you do A2A at all?
Started to get in it. I do enjoy it. I'll do it next week, Prime Day, across, I think, the world, if I remember rightly.
Prime Day
16, well, it's 2 days now, isn't it?
I'm hoping it's going to be, when I say horrific,
it's
I mean
one of
horrifically
the ones you would normally work a 9 to 5. I might work a midnight till 3, because you know as soon as midnight hits, your phone's going to be red hot. Yeah. So it's either do it in the morning and spend the whole day, or spend a couple of hours in the very beginning and make sure you get some.
Yeah, because if you, and that's the thing.
Don't miss them in that first couple of hours when it kicks in,
Yeah.
Some of them are limited time.
Yeah. Well, and I'm really sorry for you as well, guys, because if you're watching this and you've not just paid attention to that quote, you're, well, if you're not in the Discord, if you're in the Discord, you'll know about it.
Is that part of the 2.0 roadmap that you had, is to keep changing and incorporating things?
2.0 was, I think a lot of people
expect things to happen tomorrow.
Yeah. Phil now knows a little bit more information about one of the things that comes next. This project is the biggest thing that we've ever took on at Aftermarket. And again, it's going to be really fucking good and very unique. Stuff that none of the competition have.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping it could be a game changer. There's lots of testing's gone on already. Lots of work has been put into it. And I think it's going to be a big part of the future of Aftermarket.
Because that's the thing. You know your community better than anyone. So you're incorporating or planning to do something
and
which
you know
you think is going to be beneficial for them.
Exactly. And that's it. Like,
simple.
When I'm not going to go too much into it, but we've worked with people in this industry and tried to give advice. And it's like, my ear's on the ground. I could go into that chat, get feedback right now for your product. You don't want to listen to it? Okay. Well, then I will create the perfect thing. And
if you don't like what you're using, change it.
That's what we're doing. So, yes, big news is coming with 2.0. And we've got a lot more stuff coming as well. So I'll just touch on this now. The next meetup that we're going to be doing, normally, it's a piss up. The night before, we did like a bit of a staff one. Phil somehow wormed his way into the staff night out. It was me that somehow created it. I don't know how it happened. The cards just fell the way they fell. So we on the normal meetups are sort of just a get together. They've never really been educational or anything like that. The next one is going to be completely different. I want there to be a lot of value, especially for people that are traveling far. I want them to actually be able to sit there and I can take something away from this. Yes, you could do in the form of networking and meeting people, but if you're a nervous person and you don't want to necessarily speak to someone. You don't want to be that outgoing extrovert. Yeah. You want to be able to go, well, at least I've sat there with a pen and paper. I've picked up a couple of names who I'll message later on, and I've picked up some education stuff. Yeah. And we're going to do a lot of stuff. There's going to be, we're going to bring in some guest speakers. We're going to have not just guest speakers around Amazon as well. I want to bring in some people that will actually help with motivation and running businesses in general. So that's the thing. Like, you're never going to be 100% all the time. No. Like, I think November I couldn't be bothered. Yeah. And like, it happens to everyone. It does. You get that low and you're going to have it, and you just need to drag yourself out and get back going. Yeah. And then we're going to do, we're going to be doing some training there, education. We're going to have a bit of a panel. So we'll have people from the community on, some of the staff, people from there. You are getting roped onto it. You're being told now. I'm sick. I'm actually sick that day. And we're just going to have a conversation, and we're going to sort of sit there and have a chat about FBA. We'll have a panel so you can ask your questions, you can learn. It's going to be free to attend, but what we'll probably do is be like, your ticket is free. However, if you don't turn up, you're going to get charged 20 quid because it's going to be limited tickets. And you're taking it off. You're taking that spot off for somebody else. Yeah. That's one of the worst things you can do is say you're going to be there and not be there. Like, it's just don't bother. I don't want to run this. This event isn't to like, it's not, I'm not selling tickets to make money. Yeah. We're selling, we're doing the event. Back. It's giving back, basically. We're doing the event to celebrate Aftermarket. Yeah, I don't pay for the venue. I don't pay for the venue. So we're going to, exactly. There's only one person paying for it. And there will still be beers there. It's a very nice venue when we get it locked off. So if you aren't already on our socials, head over to the Instagram. Make sure you follow us because I will be posting updates there very shortly. We're looking at doing it around mid-August, I hope. So back into it, Phil. Date dropped out. Mid-August, roughly. Maybe. Hope so. You've got to follow the Instagram to stay updated and subscribe here while you're at it. So, with the online arbitrage in general, is there any other techniques that you use to source at the moment, like general online arbitrage, so not A to A? I'm talking about actual, more so manual sourcing. Some of the newsletter sourcing. You will sign up to stuff that will obviously hit you up with like
current deals, 20% off, 30% off, which are basically getting hand fed to you.
Yeah.
So it's all about just a little bit of time in, double check a few and stuff like that. But yeah, other things, it's mainly just going through some of the websites, some of the drops, some of the bots, A2A bots and stuff that you've got going. But not a lot. I always find that OA, if you're not going to hold it too much, I always find it drops quite quick.
Yep.
Yeah.
And are you?
Sometimes you're going to be fine and you'll get away with one or two, but sometimes the majority of it, store dependent maybe.
Yeah. With your retail arbitrage, sort of how often are you going out and how much time are you putting into it?
I don't really work a Monday much. So if I'm doing a school run a Thursday, Friday afternoon, that's almost in the middle of the day if you're working. So try and get out part of a Monday, mostly all day, Tuesday, Wednesdays if you can.
Yeah.
Some overnighters kicking about depending on where you're going to go. But
so you're roughly doing what, like 2 and a bit 3 days a week of actual sourcing?
Of actual getting out on the road,
Yeah.
probably 25 hours.
25 hours?
Maybe, yeah. If you split that into like eight a day over 3 days, maybe. And then obviously you're on your phone quite a bit. You're still searching for stuff on your phone, even when it's late at night and things like that.
That's thinking that doesn't feel like work, does it?
It doesn't
Because
feel
you're
like work. Exactly. You're sat on the couch watching the football, sat with the beer, just scrolling through Smiths or whatever.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like work, but yeah, I guess you would start that one.
And in terms of your, let's say, where you're going to at the moment and how you're, I'm trying to think how to word this. In terms of what you're doing with retail arbitrage at the moment, is there any select stores that you're finding are good right now?
I do. I always love Boots. Boots was always one of my favourites because, yeah, you can go in and want to be dead and you go in the next one, it's jam-packed.
Yeah.
And it might just be something tiny you've never heard of and it could be £2 and it's selling for 40. It could be something really daft and you go, oh, I need to check that.
We were with Alex Pock.
Yep.
And Alex Podcast Part 2 will be coming soon as well. If you've not seen that, search it. We picked Summer up doing boots with him, and I'm pretty sure it was like £8, and I'm sure it sold for like maybe like 105 or something. It was something stupid.
So that's the thing, we went in before and I can't remember if Alex was with me, and it came up and I never heard of the brand Omron at the time.
Oh, okay.
It's just pinged on Superdrug.
Yeah.
And it came up with Nebulizer and I went, I recognise that, and it was £20. We scanned it and it comes up £101. Like, this was before that as well, so I was like, oh.
And again,
sadly there was only one. But then you keep your eye out for them, obviously.
So what happened with Sam with it was something related to some sort of baby product, right? Some sort of machine for bottles. Can't remember what it was.
Oh, yeah,
it was in Boots. And he picked that up for, I think, again around about 20. Sold it was, and it said like it was only 2 sales a month. One unit was there. I think that sold for 140, 160, and it sold on the first day it landed.
2 sales a month. It was 3 sales a month for the big printers. If you remember, we'd done the printers.
What were they?
Remember, we got the printers. We got them for like £203. They went for £1,000. It was 2 big printers.
When was this?
A while back. November, October last year.
Was it? I won't remember.
Yeah.
How many did you get?
Got 2. There was only 2. They were massive.
Where did you get
the
them
money
from?
at the time. Curry's.
In store.
One of my pals, because he works with me in IT, sent me a message going, I've saw this in he loves Hot UK deals.
Yeah.
So he pinged me over and he goes, Hot UK deals. And he's like, and I was like, oh. Yeah. He's like, that's a great deal. And I was like, I'll have a look. And then I was like, oh, it sells for like £1,100. That can't be right. Check it. Grand. 2 of them sold within a month. £700 each. Profit. Pre-VAT.
Yeah.
Lovely too. And they were massive. So it was just stick a label on it and ship it back out in the same packaging.
Yeah. And on that topic then, you've mentioned about going VAT registered a few times. Now, I know that this is a worry for a lot of people. I remember JP calling me as if the world was ending when he went VAT registered. How did you adapt to it, and how have you found that transition?
It's always going to have this knock-on effect. You're always going to have a drop.
Yep.
There's no way around it. Right?
Yep.
You just got to pay it. But if you're going to go out and you're going to get to a point a month, 2 months before you think you're going to be there, because you do have this window of when to register or when to submit your application to the VAT Reg, change your settings. flip it over, start sourcing stuff well before. So when it's going in, when that changes, there's no difference. So all that stuff you've sent in is still making the figures you thought it was making.
Yeah.
Just pre-plan that stuff and make sure that you're ahead of the game. Any business pre-plan stuff, everything's forecasted, everything's sort of set out well in advance, probably the quarter before, isn't it?
Yeah. And it exactly that. And I hate the thought that people would abandon selling on FBA because of VAT registration, because at the end of the day, as much as you can consider it as a pain in the ass, it's actually an achievement because you built a business up to do 85. Has it gone up to 90k now?
90.
Yeah, 90 now.
Yeah.
90k in revenue. That in itself is a milestone.
Yeah. And
you've now got a legitimate company.
If I'd have started in January, I'd be over it already.
Yeah.
Like, it's just.
And what you do as well is it can actually open up more doors. Because when you want to go into wholesale, a lot of companies will only
ask for your VAT number.
Yeah.
Yep.
So and they'll only do trade with VAT registered businesses. Yep. So you are, yes, in some ways you lose some opportunities, but then you look on the positives, and there is positives to it.
I would say to anyone who's coming to that threshold, that's when you just give it a little bit more. Give that. There's a wee bump coming. Yeah. You know that's coming. So why would you not give it the attention it needs?
Yeah.
Do that. It's not the end of the world.
For you, I imagine it was a little bit more tricky, but if you were to give some advice to someone now who was sort of on the cusp, right? They're like, look, I can see the potential in this. I'm doing some good numbers now in FBA. I don't like my 9 to 5. For them to sort of adapt and get into this, like doing full time, that transition, what advice do you have for that?
So this is kind of tough because you don't want to advise people to quit their job.
We're not doing that.
No.
People who are going to leave, when they transition,
do that on their own accord. They have to do that. They can't go.
When they transition though, how did it change for you, and what did you have to do to then actually build the business more? Was it just more time?
Just time, a little bit of time, a little bit of money. Invest in like 10% of my redundancy and a little bit more time. The first 2 weeks of going full-time FBA, I didn't do much. I was taking Alex to football and Easter holidays. I didn't do much. And it was the odd deal on the phone and stuff, the odd little bit, few hours here. Enjoyed that little period, knowing that I'm going to have to change, and I'm going to have to then go, okay, from May, we're going to put in a lot more time. Yeah. I can still put in more time.
Yeah.
Can't put in a lot more money at the moment.
Yeah.
Apart from recycling it when you get the Amex and stuff. Yeah. What happens there? And that's what I'm saying. It's one of the things is, if you've got a safety net, you ain't going to do it as well as you should be doing it. Can't have that safety net.
It's like...
and that safety net for me was gone. That job was gone. You ain't getting it back. Do you want to transfer to Peterborough? No chance. Go and do it now. There's no safety net, and then you have that progression. You have that.
It does sound
that growth.
Really counterintuitive as well, doesn't it? And I understand both sides of the argument with safety net, but JP was the exact same. He quit his teaching job with the notion of just saying, I'm going full time on Amazon, and I'm going to make it work.
And I can go back if I want.
Yeah.
And it's very similar.
Yeah.
I couldn't go back because that was gone. Yeah. I can go and get another job. You can go and get another job anywhere, but you're going to end up in the same sort of, are you valued to the way you see yourself being valued and things like that. Whereas now, don't need to have that worry.
And you can just pop down to Manchester on a Friday afternoon.
But this is still work, remember? Still work.
Yeah, of course it's still work, right?
Still work.
Is this for expenses reasoning?
It's tough. but that's the thing. So even we were talking there about that. So last month being 6k, right? I'm not going to put like 6k. I'm just going to let it ride, obviously. Yeah. That's the second highest. So December would be the highest in terms of profit.
And what was that? 8k.
Just over 8. So there's that difference in like that. It's went down.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
So why would you let it affect you? You're just going to then progress again.
Build it back up again.
And get it back up.
Yeah.
Someone keeps saying if you lose 100%, if you lose 50% of what you got to put in 100% to get it back.
Yeah. 100%. Yep. Literally. It does.
Yeah.
People don't look at it like that.
Just got to put 100% back in. Just give it a lift.
Yeah.
And then maintain.
Yeah.
And grow a little bit.
And so for you, what's your sort of plans going forward with this? Where do you want to be? Like, do you have anything, or is it literally just keep plugging away?
it's kind of a bit of both. It's like the natural progression for most people should be join AMA, join eBay, build up your capital, go to Amazon, do FBA, probably avoid the FBM unless it's big larger items, and or your sort of expertise can help you with that. Then you would probably branch into wholesale if you can. Then you move to private label.
Yep.
And then you're out. Yep. That's essentially the sort of roadmap you get. So it's just sort of moving and kind of navigating towards the things like that. Private label would be fantastic. Probably not there yet. We'll just keep plugging away and moving forward. Maybe try and dabble in wholesale and try and find the odd account or the old replan and stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. And then just slowly add, again, surface area, adding in little bits here and there. And then you're at a point where you can kind of scale back your time a little bit because you're running so smooth that you can then go, right, okay, move in.
Here's the next challenge.
A little bit more effort, a little bit more time into it, but less sacrifice.
You're building, essentially you're just building a portfolio of products. And when you get to that point where you do have your replans and you can sort of rely on them a little bit more
time elsewhere.
Yeah. And you can put back into yourself and then literally taking on the next challenge.
So it's just reevaluating your own little network and what you can shuffle around to then make time for something else. Yeah. So keep doing that. Like I say, we get more cash flow and all these things, and then we keep buying. Just as I can spend more.
Yeah.
Spend more.
And with your unit that you've got, so again, this is a question we get asked a lot. People, for some reason, seem to think that they need, we get it from our Instagram DMs, this is where this comes from. They're like, do I need to go get a warehouse? Do I need a unit to start?
No.
How did it work for you?
Living room.
Living room.
Yeah, in the living room.
How many good businesses have
the living room? The living room is still wrote off.
Yeah.
But then part of it turned into an office, and then there's boxes everywhere, there's rubbish everywhere. That's the way it goes. If you're not got that, you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
Simple. So then moved into a unit because of the box supplier sort of shutting down. The one is using. So then it was a point of the most cost effective thing for me was to get 3 pallets of boxes delivered to me. Now I'm not going to get them to a flat. So let's get a unit, get a little deal at the beginning, let's get them delivered, and then we're storing them away. Instead of getting 125 square foot, you split it into 50 and a 75, which isn't ideal, but the 50 is just filled with boxes. Now a little bit of that is then the overflow. Do you want to get and I want to hold, maybe I want to keep stuff for Christmas toys, whatever, put that in an overflow.
Yep.
And then we'll work out the other one, get a couple of desks, get some new printers, get a battery pack, we'll start working out there. And use that space.
And how long? So
we've been in there coming up for like 2 months, just over 2 months.
Okay, so
but only been in there properly working for maybe the last 4 weeks.
So you at the end of the day, you've almost gotten like over 20 months just from your flat.
Yeah.
And in December you did 8.
Yeah. UPS guy was fantastic.
Yeah.
Honestly,
getting days for Christmas.
Oh, he's giving him cash and everything. No, he was giving him cash the week before Christmas, just in case there's bottles of vodka flying around. It was everything. Guy was great. Yeah. And it was a case of like, oh, I'll go and see what ones were for today. And he went, oh, I'll just take them all, mate. And I was like, sure. And he's like, yeah, get me them, come on, let's go. And I was like, cool, brilliant.
And that's it. Again, it's building relationships.
Nothing ever got damaged or went missing. Nothing.
Yes.
Not one thing.
Keep the driver on your side, people.
He's fantastic.
Give them a little gift. Christmas, it goes a long way. Like we do the same when they come up to the office here. We get it. It's a bit of hassle for them. It's not the easiest.
He was fine. He was whistling taking stuff down the stairs because he brought a little trolley. Yeah. So I knew 3 on the trolley, and he's not fussed in the slightest. If there's 4, I'll try and carry one down for him if I'm in. Yeah. And if not, well, he knows there's a couple of quid coming at some point. So he was quite happy.
And
quite good.
Remember, guys, all this, like you're at a point now, VAT registered, six grand profit last month, and this is largely coming from products that are sat on the shelf.
Yeah.
Stuff that people
miss.
You would walk past every day. If you've never done Amazon, you wouldn't even bat an eyelid. But try and be a little bit, if you want to start making a little bit more money, be a little bit more self-aware.
Yeah.
Think about what could be around you and what opportunities are around you, because we say it all the time. We show you on the content all the time. Yeah. It's there and it's happening.
Yeah, I've had to up my targets for this year. I've got a whiteboard in the corner office in the house, and I put like 250,000 this year. January to January, I went 250,000. I work out the average, and then I work out what I kind of want to hit each month, profit margins, what then I want to do with that money, and where I want to. I never had an investment account until January. And now I've got an investment account. So that had to go from $250,000 up to 300 just to try and tweak it up, because I'm going, if I keep doing what I'm doing, it's going to be quite comfy, so let's up it again. And then I'll revisit it maybe the end of Q3 and we'll maybe up it.
Do you know where you're sitting right now?
Lifetime?
No, just this year.
Close to 200, I think.
200k?
Yeah.
So 200k revenue?
So what, 6 months?
Just
probably just
at 7.
Between 150 200, yeah.
So there you go. 6 full months, a little bit of July, £200,000 generated. He started with 60 quid. If that doesn't give you some motivation to get up and do something and make a positive change, I've got no idea.
The thing is as well, is I've got a good crowd of boys around me as well. So all of them are going, how's work, how's things, how you getting on with that? So they kind of, that question, you don't want to go, oh, it's doing shit. And they're like, oh, I'm like,
yeah,
come on, like you can do it. Like you get that little bit of motivation even from people who aren't doing FBA. If you've got good friends and stuff, good family, you'll be sound.
Yeah. Didn't you say as well, at one point you had like people that you've not spoke to for a long time, like suddenly become interested in what you're doing with your business?
Yeah, you get the odd person coming up going, that's pretty good what you're doing, like asking questions, and people are very then inquisitive, and you're going like, yeah, okay. Yeah. And then a couple of people come up and go, brilliant what you're doing, like, I love it, and you're like, oh, cheers. Yeah. And they're not just saying it to blow smoke up your ass, they're just being nice and going, I'm happy for you.
If it's someone you've not spoke to in ages, like they've got no reason to message you. Like on that positive sort of comment, it's got to be genuine, because it's not like they need you for something else in any other field.
It would be nice. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
And again, it's a testament to what you've done, mate. So you've built this up. You've sort of. I wouldn't know how you'd class this. Would you say like you've properly like changed your life around from where you were at?
Yeah, I would say so, because like any other time you'd be taking holidays and stuff. Like I've went from Glasgow to Manchester today at the drop of a hat, 3 trains, staying here, down here 2 nights, go back on Sunday, might go Monday. We'll never know. Yeah. But like I've got that flexibility, that freedom. It's just pretty good, mate. Can't complain. So
good stuff.
I would say it's kind of flipped round.
Yes, it has completely flipped, mate. And what we'll do is I'm going to plug Phil Taylor in the comments, in the description, below. So you can go and give him a follow on Instagram. And I always say this, Phil, well, do you know, I hope he does mind, because he's that word up there. What I always say is like, look, with Aftermarket, I think a lot of people think that I will mask stuff and just do stuff to get sales. Go and speak to that guy. And
that's the point that I've made at the start. There's not an affiliation, I'm not paid to be here. I'm here because I want to be here. I want to give a story, want to sit and chat, shoot the shit. And you normally tell people, go, if you don't believe me, message him. And like I said, I sent you a screenshot during the week. Someone messaged me. You love it, taking action. And that was him. And he messaged me this morning saying, it was him going, how many hours do you put in the beginning? I'm definitely going to do it. I'm saving up my money.
And that's it. We wanna just have a positive impact on people. And like someone like Phil, like he's gone from where he was at to where he is now. That is a massive change in sort of life in general. And look at this, use it as motivation, and then, as Phil said, rightly so, take action. But we'll round this off. Thank you for coming on, Phil. Great podcast. We are going to the pub. So subscribe, like the video, drop a comment if you've made it to the end. Comment Hasbullah if you've made it to the end.
Oh, come on.
We can't have that. We get that enough. That is the TikTok comment section anyway.
Hasbullah, if you can spell it.
We want you to comment, see you next Tuesday if you've made it here. And what I'll actually do is, if you do comment that, pick one person. If you're in Aftermarket, I'll send you 50 quid. If you're not in Aftermarket, I'll give you a free month on the platform.
And if you write the word, he'll give you 100.
That's not happening. Don't listen to him.
First one gets it.
Right. Thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Subscribe. Like I said, we've got more podcasts coming up. Maybe the guy that sat behind the camera now, I'm persuading him to come on.
He's going to be here.
50 grand profit a month. He lives in Dubai. Hands off.
He's got a lovely tan.
And he's just spent a shit ton of money on a car as well. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but...
It's a VW Beetle.
Josh, you're 22? 23? 23. Just got to say supercar.
See, that's what I'm saying.
We'll leave it
Baby
there.
steps, got to get up there.
Exactly. We're all in this circle now, though. We're all going to get there. And when you're picking yours up, I'm coming. Right. Thanks for watching, guys. Speak to you all very soon.